Hey guys, I'm Kent and welcome back to my channel. So my GY6 Ruckus build is looking pretty good. In the last few weeks I've made a lot of progress, and this build has actually been a lot more simple than I thought it would be. There's been very little, if any, real fabrication required. Things have bolted together as expected, and except for the wiring harness, the bike is pretty much complete. I'm actually gonna have the wiring done from my local shop at Riders Block. They've got a schematic to run the stock ECU and electric fuel pump with the stock wiring harness and the GY6. I've heard that there's sometimes trouble with the vacuum pump. A lot of people use the Mikuni one. By keeping the electric fuel pump incorporated into the system, you're automatically getting as much fuel as you need into this carbureted engine. Other than the wiring, again, the bike is almost done, and I wanted to walk you through some of the selections that I made and also the prices. So last night I actually sat down and looked at all the receipts for the build. This has been pretty quick. It's really only been about the last month that I've been purchasing and putting parts together on this bike. And with all these builds, once I actually look at all the receipts, I'm usually surprised at how much it cost me. But there's two different approaches to building a GY6 Ruckus. So I started with just a bare titled frame, just this L-shaped piece here, and everything else I've since purchased. My friend Alex from the Lex D Fox channel, which you should check out, has also started a Ruckus build, but he's starting from the other way. He bought a Ruckus that had already been built to a degree, and he's now deconstructing it to build it the way that he wants it to go. So a different approach. The advantage in the approach that he's taking is that you get a lot of the parts that otherwise you need to buy. Like I had to buy a new seat, I had to buy the battery box and the brackets that hold the battery inside and that hold this external battery box. A lot of pieces that otherwise come on a Ruckus if you already have one. Although in Alex's case, it's not a stock Ruckus, which I think would be much easier. It's a customized Ruckus, so there's, again, some deconstructing there before he gets his build the way that he likes it. But I'll link to his channel below. It's an interesting build that he's doing, and we're both putting these bikes together for a event that Riders Block is holding in October. I think we're both on track, and we'll have the bikes there for that event. But I broke my pricing list into two parts. The first were the parts that I bought that would have come on a stock Ruckus. So it totaled out to just over $900 for the titled frame that I bought, which included the headlight bracket. I had to buy a lot of the battery box. Well, I had to buy the battery box holder, and a lot of the brackets, mostly from Partzilla. They had just about every part you need from the stock Ruckus. If you're able to find a stock titled Ruckus for less than $1,000, it may be a good deal for you. That's also assuming that things like the battery box cover are in good shape. Obviously, all of this looks brand new. It is brand new. But if you find a beat up one, this might be scratched up to the extent that you may want to replace it anyway. So again, it depends on what's available in your area when you decide how you want to start off a build like this. So I'll go into some of the detail, but for the folks that just want to know the number, and I'm still missing the exhaust system, which is going to be about $500 or $600. And also this price doesn't include any labor. My labor or the local shop, Riders Block, has helped me out with this build. I'm currently up to $5,300 on the build, so when I'm done and it's rideable, I'm probably going to be at about $6,000. Then I'm probably going to do modifications beyond that. But, okay, so for those that are sticking around for some more of the details on what I bought and the individual costs, let me go through some of those now. So from eBay, again, I got the motor for about $400 and a few other small things like the fuel cap and the foot pegs and some of the other accessories that came from China, but I wasn't too worried about the quality. It was more for the style of the items. From Steady Garage, I got the lug nuts for the rear wheel. I got the studs to support those lug nuts on the rear hub, the throttle tube, some different oils for the transmission because I had to swap out the long axle for a short axle. I got the carburetor. I'm running the PE28 clone, but it's something that the Riders Block guys swear by. And I also got the FLP rear tail light and turn signal that I think looks really good. I'm looking forward to having that set up. And then most of the other parts came from the Ruck shop. So things like the extension mount to support the GY6 motor on the Ruckus frame was $379. The rear lowboy shock was $125. The TRS drag forks were $284. I have the adjustable clip-on bars, also made by TRS, for $175. The Michelin Power Pier tires, I'm running the 110 in the front and the 140 in the rear, and that's stretched across that 8-inch wide wheel that looks pretty ridiculous. The RGS Adelin 4-piston brake setup for the front here. The Ruckus comes with drum brakes, but on a bike that's going to be making a little bit more power, you definitely need more stopping performance. Plus, these look absolutely awesome. And then there's a number of parts that cost 40 or 50 bucks here or there. The other expensive item actually was the wheels. These are custom wheels, and I bought these locally. I'm not exactly sure how much they cost new. I paid $950 for this set. The options for wheels are endless. I've seen them for as little as a few $100s and as much as a couple of $1,000s. So that's really just a personal preference in the way that you want it to look. Again, I'm really happy with this cheeky seats cover. They make these custom. There's a lot of design options, but it was $100 for the cover. The used seat that I bought off eBay was $76. So in total, I spent about $170 on the seat, but again, happy with that outcome. And again, all of these parts have bolted together very easily. There's also a lot of good YouTube videos from the Ruck Shop that have instructional videos on how to install each individual part, like the ankle biter that I have here. Also, everybody likes to take off that ugly cover. I think I actually have mine in the trash here. It just looks pretty cheap and doesn't match the aesthetic of the rest of the bike. But make sure that when you do take it off, you buy one of these ankle biter kits, because not only does it look cool with the billet aluminum that goes around the transmission, but it also has a thick steel plate that goes against the back of the arm. In this case, the motor itself is the rear swing arm, so there's a lot of weight, and since it's stretched, the potential for it to crack. And since it's your swing arm, if it breaks while you're at speed, that's going to be trouble. So having that steel backing plate, if there is a cracking issue, it'll at least keep the bike together long enough for you to pull over and realize that there's a problem. So make sure that you're setting your motor up like that if you want to have that part of the transmission exposed. And so that's really the bike to this point. There haven't been many special tools required at all to put this together, other than the Cheetah Blaster that we used at the local shop to get the rear wheel onto that stretched rim. Everything has been common tools that I've had in my garage, and now having gone through this one time, putting together the next Ruckus that I build is going to be very simple, because this is a very easy platform to work on, and it looks absolutely awesome. So excited to finally get it wired up, fired up, and riding it around. If you have any comments about this build, please throw it in the comments below. Again, I'll have this entire list listed in the description so that you can look through the items that I chose for my build, where I got them, and then specifically how much each individual part cost. There's so many different options on how you can put a Ruckus together, and that makes it fun. And honestly, this build will probably change quite a bit once I get it running and start customizing some of these parts in more detail. And I'll try to do more detailed videos as I start to do some of those modifications. I've really just been interested in getting this bike running, get some experience with it, and then get detailed on those videos. Anyway, thank you everybody very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and keep on building.